Trey, does it feel a little warm in here for winter?
It feels pretty hot in here.
Yeah, you know why, Trey? Because I think Summers is here.
Yeah. And you've let in the door to the people out here in the desert. Or the person out here in the desert.
Yep. We flew all the way over to California, and we're here now. The
person who can't buy a pair of shorts because apparently it's winter.
Wait, what?
Yep.
Really?
Yep, it's winter out here, so they were like, oh, it's not in season. And I was like, what are you talking about? It's 70 degrees outside.
It's always in season.
I know. And they're like, no, it's freezing out. You're crazy. And I'm like, sure.
It's like, oh, you sweet, sweet child. You have no idea.
Meanwhile, I didn't drive my car for 2 days, so I had to get a foot and a half of
snow
off of it.
I had to not take the freeway because my car was shedding snow so much.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, anyway, so enough about the weather. Games? Did we play games? I played a game.
I played a game, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you guys can talk about that a lot, because is it the Dragon Age one?
Well, yeah, no. I mean, I'm not gonna. I mean, oh, by the way, Tyler. Yep, and Tyler, thanks for coming back on the show.
Of course.
Oh yeah, welcome back, Tyler.
We love it when you're over here.
And by over here, you mean I'm over here, and you guys.
Yeah, on the internet.
Yeah, over here, right over here. Next to us, uncomfortably close.
Your neck of the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, welcome to my neck of the internet.
But yeah, no, I mean, I haven't played a whole lot of much this past few weeks. I played The Room 3, which is a puzzle game that just came out. Just came out on Steam. It's a tablet game, but
yeah,
that game is fun.
Been out for a long time though on devices. It's just new to Steam.
On iOS and Android, it's been out for quite a while. But I think they're on The Room 5 or something on those. But it just came out on Steam. I really enjoy those games. Just it's basically like an escape the room game, sort of. It's like a puzzle game mixed with a little bit of mystery and some eldritch horror. It's kind of fun. They're all really short. You get to open and close a lot of things. So if that's something that really gets you going, like I know it does for some of you sick fucks, you fucking sickos.
I mean, if it works,
yeah.
They're good games.
It's an interesting game. Like it's just it's like fun little puzzle time. If you just want to sit there and be like, okay, I can.
Yeah,
let's see if I can just go through it.
Rotating an object around, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
and then, just sliding things in and out.
Mm-hmm. It's like that, and then you have like a little in the second game they give you like a scope, or in the first game they do too. At the very end, you get like a scope, and you can see things that are hidden with it, and that's pretty fun. But yeah, you have like usually like 90% of the time is like there's a table in the center of the room from some century, or you go all across time, and you rotate around the table, and you look at things around the room, and you click on them, and then you slide things around to open them, move magnets, so you could get a magnet and like move it around, like channel electricity. It's pretty interesting. Not incredibly deep. Like I never had like the Myst problem where you need to be taking notes, or you just like cannot solve some of the puzzles in that game.
Yeah.
At least that was for me. I don't know. Maybe there's some smart people out there who are like, Myst was an easy game, and I didn't have to.
Somebody will show up.
I mean, Myst, it's not like Myst is a hard game, but there's a lot of information that I found really difficult to just keep in my head because like, it wouldn't come up for a while. So like, that's one of those like get a notepad, get some note paper, and just write down some like if you see a symbol somewhere, like a code or something, just write it down. Or if you see a notebook and that mentions something several times, write that down.
Yeah. As a person who loves the Myst games and has played all of them, this is definitely, it's got a similar feel to it and a similar vibe.
Yeah.
And if you like games that you can just play for a little while on your iPad, it's honestly perfect for that.
Yeah, it's a great game. It's really pretty. I mean, it's pre-rendered, so obviously like they can get away with that on like a tablet. But man, it is really pretty. Like,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's not entirely pre-rendered. There's
I mean like that's the objects and like things that move aren't, but like a lot of the background is.
Yeah.
I mean, speaking of that, there is a puzzle game. I don't know if you've heard of this one, Tyler. It's called Quern Undying Thoughts. That game is basically just the Myst game.
Huh. No, I haven't tried that yet. I'll have to...
Yeah. I recommend it. I haven't beaten it. I'm about halfway, but that game is literally just a Myst game. It's a Myst game, but they just kind of they pretend it's not a Myst game. Yeah. You're literally on a misty island, running around trying to figure out like why you're there and like who's this mysterious man writing notes to you. And I'm like, man, this is a whole lot of Myst, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just like the off-brand, like Meyer brand.
Yeah, it's like Meyer brand Myst. It's out. That one's pretty fun. I enjoy that.
Now I'm trying to remember. When I was a kid, I used to play this one game that I played it because it was similar to Myst, and it was even like Myst, like down to the fact that they had live action, like people in the game,
the cutscenes,
cut into the game. Except for the actors were so much worse.
But that kind of adds to the charm.
Very obviously, English is a second language. Very obviously, like they were really forcing themselves to try to put on a performance. But it was. I just remember the puzzles were much more like arithmetic based and much more like you had to know probably some algebra and some other skills, which I never really found that you needed in Myst.
Yeah, you don't need any of that. You don't need that in Myst most of the time. I probably wouldn't enjoy that game. I'll be
no, yeah, I think I beat it at one point, but man, I was not nearly as into it as I was into Myst.
Yeah,
fair.
I've also been playing a little bit of the Talos Principle, which is by the same studio that made what was it, Serious Sam, which is really funny because it's a philosophical like. It's a philosophical it's not a new game by any means.
I was gonna say it was big a while ago. I know like Brutal Moose played a lot.
Yeah, I play it on and off. Like I have to be in the mood for it because like there's a lot. It's like it's not like the puzzles are crazy hard, but like man, it's just like it's a big game. It's a lot of game in that game. But that game has a really interesting story and a really philosophical story, which is hilarious because again, Serious Sam devs. I don't know what they were doing. Like they had some genius writer in the back that just wasn't doing anything in the Serious Sam game.
I think the game has like multiple endings too.
It does, yeah. It has multiple endings. Yeah, because like there's different things. Like you can follow the voice. Or you can follow the dissenting voice in the computer, or you can do your own thing. I think that's as far as I know. I've only done one of the endings. It's the rebel ending.
Yeah.
I assume if you follow Elohim, like it probably just gives you like a really stock. It probably just gives you like a really stock happy ending, but you know in the back of your mind that that's not at all what's happening. I also like that game. I mean, this is a really, really minor spoiler because I tell you it pretty early, but it's like the fact that the human race has died out, and a lot of the some of the very first audio logs. It's like that's just sort of like a side plot. Like it ties into the main story, but like the human race is dead, and the big mystery is like how that happened. Yeah, it's an interesting game. I recommend it if you like a thinking game. Like. It's not just the puzzles, but like the subtext is very like thought provoking. I really enjoyed it. But anyway, Tyler, what have you been playing? You've been playing some new games, actually.
Yeah, you've been playing things.
Yeah, you've been playing those old games.
I've had a little bit of time with this past break, having nobody nearby in the desert. So, probably the first one is I know you've played a little bit of this game, Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah. I'm like 12-ish hours in. I took a break for a reason that I'll get into later, but no. What are your thoughts? What do you think? Did you beat it? Did you get past the 18 hours of epilogue?
Yeah, I did. There's a 2-part epilogue to the game, so
yes.
Yep, there's a lot there.
I'm pretty sure that's just called another part of the game.
Another chapter of your long game.
Honestly, the 2 parts of the epilogue equate to about 1 chapter of the previous part of the game. I mean, I guess you could probably spend some more time exploring and stuff. There's literally a huge part of the map, about as big as the first part of the map before the epilogue, that opens up during the epilogue. And you don't even go to most of it during the epilogue. So there's just this huge chunk of land that goes pretty much unused.
I'm guessing
they're going to use it in the online
or DLC
content?
maybe if they decide to do that.
Which actually that gets
Yeah,
released very soon.
I want to try that out.
By the time this drops, it's already going to be out, I'm sure. But
yeah.
Oh yeah, the online.
Yeah, the online.
Yeah.
I don't know. It looks interesting. I'm looking forward to it, and I will probably be trying.
I mean, I hope it's not as
out.
pay to win as GTA Online was, but the idea of like RPing a cowboy just running around shooting shit, that sounds kind of fun. Like just like going around like just being an outlaw, or I hope you could be like a lawman or something, like just go hunt bounties. That'd be pretty fun.
Oh yeah, I wonder if it would give you bounties.
Yeah. That's what I'm wondering.
That kind of expects that the people aren't going to be like just
like if somebody with a bounty comes in, and that'd be fun if you had to like go to other players and ask if they've seen them or something like that. I have ideas for what it could be. I doubt it'll be fun. I just like I have ideas of like I have ideas of like there was an MMO, a Korean MMO that had like ships in it. It's like Tri-Age or something. I can't remember the name exactly, but that game, like literally everything in it was run by players. So like there were players who had trade guilds and stuff, and they'd have to hire players from the combat guilds to like protect their caravans of merchants from bandit guild, like bandit teams. Who there are other players who literally just run around just stealing stuff from caravans, and so you have to like actually protect your caravans with. Like, I think that'd be really awesome in like a Western setting. Like if some other player could like get a caravan to move something from like say Valentine to somewhere else, and then you get to like protect. You can hire players to protect them.
They already even had missions in the game.
Yeah, exactly.
That were similar to like rob carriages.
Yeah, exactly. It'd just be fun if that were like if that were organic.
Maybe you're protecting a train and another group is trying to.
It'd be funny if that was like
organic.
Like it wasn't like a mission. It's just something that could just happen. I guarantee you it won't be like that. But man, wouldn't that be great?
Yeah. Somebody was, or I think I read earlier too, that they're doing some sort of like battle royale.
Oh boy,
which doesn't really excite me that much, but you know,
it's the thing.
I feel like aren't battle royales already dead? Like
no,
they're definitely not. Like Fortnite is still one of the biggest games.
Yeah. No, let me rephrase. Battle royales that weren't Fortnite. Like I thought everybody else was like, oh man, we don't know what to do.
They haven't really been successful.
I mean.
PUBG is a little bit.
I was gonna say Korea and China play PUBG quite a bit.
Oh yeah,
but...
yeah, and I still slightly prefer PUBG, although it is a lot more buggy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have an interest in any battle royale. It's just not a genre I like. But I will say, I think I would rather play PUBG for the sole reason that I don't like the building mechanics of Fortnite very much.
I enjoyed. That is going to make me sound hipster. I enjoyed Fortnite before they added the Battle Royale mode.
I remember you and Trob playing the zombie.
And then when they went full board into the Battle Royale mode, we were very sad because it meant that they weren't going to really improve the normal game. And we enjoyed that way more than we enjoyed the Battle Royale.
Well, I mean, that happened to Battlerite, too. Battlerite just kind of ignored their player base. They were like, hey, we made a Battle Royale.
That was a frustrating one because I actually enjoyed Battlerite a fair amount, and it just really pissed me off when they were like, "Yeah, we won't balance any of the really OP characters or anything. Battlerite Royale," and everyone's like, "Oh, okay. So is that like a free mode you get after we pay the $30 for all the heroes?" And they're like, "Nope,
yeah,
$30 more. Hand it over. We fucking Skillshot.
Yeah, Skillshot Studios. They kind of screwed the pooch on that one. If you guys are listening,
they fucking suck. And you know what? I'm not even sad that their last game went belly up now because they really fucked over their player base.
Yeah.
Like that was upsetting because I enjoyed that game and they just like really fucked it up.
Yeah, game companies have a terrible habit of going to be like, oh, this is big right now, and then only doing that.
100%.
One of the biggest things that has disappointed me in recent years is there hasn't really been too many good RTS games. Like, that genre has sort of died out. There's been a few that have been okay in the past few years, but it's really mostly died out. And like the next big RTS I'm looking forward to is one that has already been released, and they're just re-releasing it, which is Warcraft 3.
Yeah,
we're doing it again.
Yeah, well, and that's what I feel it kind of was with RTSs, because for a while, like, I remember when there was like kind of a flood of RTSs, and I liked a lot of them.
I remember that.
I was always bad at StarCraft.
Back when they were releasing like the actual Age of Empires games, they had Rise of Legends.
Yeah.
Rise of Nations, and a lot of great ones. And then they just stopped making them. I think I heard they've announced an AoE 4, which I'm looking forward to, but
they're definitely a niche. It's definitely a niche market, which is too bad because I enjoy like really tight RTSs. Like I played a lot of StarCraft 2, like way too much StarCraft 2. I
still play it.
I just like it. Yeah, I mean I don't play it anymore because I'm not good at it anymore, and that pisses me off. Like I used to be really good with that game.
I don't play it. I don't play it with the online stuff. I don't really do competitive. I don't do.
Yeah, you do like the co-op.
I do the co-op stuff and some of the custom maps, but even then, the custom maps feel so much is lacking in them compared to the Warcraft 3 custom maps. And I'm hoping that with the re-release of Warcraft 3, they're not going to make the same screw-up that they made with StarCraft 2, which is forcing you to use their search tool to get maps. Because part of the fun of it was going to the sites like, what is it, like, blanking on all the names of them now. Like I think it was like War 3 Forge or something like that. I don't remember, but all of these sites that we used to go to find maps on, and you'd have a mixed bag. You'd get some that are utter junk, but you'd find some that are really, really cool. And then you always knew where to find them, and it was easier to search through those databases because you weren't seeing what Blizzard has decided to show you.
Yeah.
Wait, okay. I know this is kind of catching you off guard, guys, but I just thought that'd be an interesting topic to talk about. But what are your guys' opinions of Activision Blizzard right now? Because they've been making a lot of people upset the past few weeks.
I mean, Activision, I feel like, has just been on a fucking downhill spiral for a while.
Yeah, because like they've been doing some really anti-consumer stuff the past like few months, and I have been really upset with them. I just want to know what you guys' were thoughts about like some of the shit like Diablo Immortal or Call of Duty retroactively adding microtransactions into the game or something like that. Like,
yeah, well, I mean, I expect that from Activision, and I expect that from most AAAs, honestly, at this point. I mean, frickin' I'm blanking. Did EA make the Shadow of Mordor?
No, that was Warner Brothers.
Yeah. Warner Brothers. Okay.
Warner Brothers at least published it. I'm not sure who the developer was.
Yeah.
I don't. It's not. Yeah, the developer isn't Warner Brothers, but the publisher is.
Yeah, I was just thinking in the terms of like the fact that they gated, the main game behind microtransactions.
Yeah. I mean, there's like the meme ones too, like Battlefront 2 being utter shit
even
because they
little things like
they balanced the game.
The new Assassin's Creed game, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, from.
Oh, don't you get me started on that game. That game fucking... I hate Ubisoft so much.
I've heard it's a good game. I've heard it's really fun.
No, don't play it. It's fucking garbage. I mean, it's a decent game until you... If you love grinding...
Yeah, well, that's what I've heard, is that the way to make it fun is to do the thing that they lock behind a paywall, which is have the experience gain be what it should have actually been.
Yeah, well, that's what pissed me off. Like, okay, so here's what really pissed me off. And it pissed me off so much I actually unsubbed from a bunch of reviewers on my, like, YouTube channels that I thought I could trust, but they completely didn't mention any of the issues I have with the game, which is really pisses me off. Did I ever talk about Odyssey on the show?
No, I don't think you ever talked about it. We can get into that. I think I said my piece.
That game makes me hate. I hate that game. I hate Ubisoft. Fuck those guys. The main thing with that game is what Tyler said. The game would probably be okay. Like, I don't think it would be a great game. Like, people gloss over the fact that the AI in that game is actual trash, and like the quests are super uninteresting. But the main thing is, like, you will be spending so much time just grinding for nonsense because the game. The way you would get XP was really slowed down just so they could sell you XP boosts.
Yeah, no, I did hear a bit about that. I mean, I'm just not about that. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like it's a bad thing to say, but I feel like so many of the AAA titles now are just money grabbing so hard.
Yeah, okay, well, this is one of those things where it almost makes you feel like MMOs were a mistake, because now every fucking game by a AAA company is an MMO. Like, they just take all this shit that you don't like from MMOs, and they just throw it in their games so that you have to stick with them longer. Yeah, and if it's really, really annoying.
Yeah, and if it's not an MMO, bringing it back to what we said on Blizzard, it's, a mobile game, which...
Yeah. Which is just as bad with all the gacha stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like just the big thing on that is, like, whoever they had presenting at that Blizzard thing clearly had no idea how to talk to people or, like, an audience.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame him, or I kind of feel bad for him, because I think they knew it wasn't going to go over well. I don't think they knew it would go over that well, but, like, it's hard for me to be mad at him specifically. I'm mad at Activision Blizzard because obviously they weren't listening to their fan base.
When people are upset and he goes like, "Oh, well, why are you guys mad? Don't you guys own cell phones?"
Yeah, but I mean, you have
read
to
the
remember
room.
you have to remember though he's being paid to vouch for it. There was a stupid comment, like for sure, but I don't think he's like the problem. Yeah. It's definitely the company that's the problem.
And he probably thought he was trying to be humorous as well, and
I think he was. It was just a bad. It was just a bad.
If there's anything about Diablo, not even Diablo, it's like some of the Blizzard diehard fans. If they don't get what they want, it's like riots in the streets sometimes.
That's the issue with
a little bit
game fans in general, is just that you can't please them no matter what you do, because you. Mm-hmm. And oftentimes what they think they want isn't really what they want, because they often think themselves essentially a game developer when they're not one.
Yeah, no. I definitely see it from like that.
Though I think the ones that want Diablo 4 are justified in being upset that they're getting a shitty mobile game.
I will say,
at least a mobile game.
The mobile game is most likely outsourced to a third party. It is most likely not Blizzard's core team working on it. So chances are it's not actually delayed.
There is probably going to be a Diablo 4, and it's probably going to be okay.
I think they've already announced that they're planning it.
Yeah,
they've been working on it, but nobody's seen anything.
Just now, that game's going to get made to hell.
I think that's what people are upset, is because Blizzard said
this is why Bethesda did their, when they announced Blades, they also did the quick teaser for. Oh yeah, by the way, don't worry, 6 is coming.
Which is what Blizzard should have done, because like Bethesda's conference was garbage except for like the 2 last things they showed and like the new Doom. But like literally the Elder Scrolls 6 trailer was literally just a background with a logo. Like that's it. That's all it was.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And for Blizzard having its whole own like conference to release stuff, you would think that if they're going to do a whole conference, they'd want stuff to actually show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, and it's the major thing is that they said before BlizzCon that they were going to show off a big new Diablo title, and so everyone was really excited. And then they waited to the literal end of the show, which makes you like, oh my god, they're gonna announce a new game, and then the game's a mobile game, and so like I can totally understand people being upset about that. Like maybe the mobile game will be fine, but the majority of the people there who paid to go to BlizzCon aren't going to want to watch that.
And a lot of Blizzard's core gamer group is PC gamers. They have always
the PC gamers. So I totally like the death threats and like attacking the guy on stage. I don't agree with per se, but like everybody being upset at Activision Blizzard, yeah, they should be upset. Like. Even if Diablo 4 is a thing and it's being developed, just the fact that they had the gall to make a big announcement about Diablo and then wait to the end of the show to show nothing,
yeah.
And honestly, their analysts and stuff might be saying like, "Oh, well, the mobile market is big," which it's true. It is. It's still a big market.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it almost goes back to everybody was riding like when everybody was writing like the Battle Royale thing, and still kind of is, like when they're just like, oh, well, Pokemon Let's Go came out, people are back into Pokemon Go, look at these numbers, we have numbers, guys.
Well, I mean, that whole Diablo Immortal thing was for shareholders, almost certainly. Like, mobile games do make a lot of money, and so, like, they just kind of, like, threw it in there just for shareholders, but... Again, they could have.
Well, mobile games make a lot of money.
They tend to make a lot of money if they can attract the whales. But
Yeah.
what was I gonna say? But I think they should have just put it at the beginning of the show or the middle of the show, and then like showed then showed the Warcraft. If they showed the Warcraft trailer at the end of the show, I bet nobody would have been mad.
Oh, yeah.
No, I don't think anybody at that whole conference would have been mad. They would have just been like, okay, well, it's not Diablo 4, but at least I got to see that new Warcraft trailer, though.
Yeah, and that's what everybody was kind of excited about. I mean, yes, there was some disappointment, like, it was just Warcraft 3 again and not Warcraft 4.
Yeah, but
I'm not sure Warcraft 4 is ever going to happen, which saddens me
not
so
as long
much.
as World of Warcraft is still around.
Yeah, I was gonna say, isn't World of Warcraft kind of technically the Warcraft 4, in the storyline sense of things?
In the storyline, yes, it happens after Warcraft 3. And they're still kind of continuing the story, I think, because they're still releasing
expansions, right?
Packs, expansions and stuff, which is insane because that code base has to be such a mess.
Yep.
At this point.
Yep. Oh, actually, I mean, that kind of reminds me, because that game. How old is Warcraft? How old is World of Warcraft at this point, man? Like that's got to be.
It's got to be like 10 years.
Because I was
at least 10.
I was thinking about Fallout 76 and the fact that the engine they're using is just a modified Morrowind engine. They've been using the same engine they've been using the same engine for 20 years, and that just blows my mind.
Yeah. I mean, it's had improvements made.
Oh, for sure. Like they've touched it up, but the base of it is a 20-year-old engine. Like, what the fuck, Bethesda? Stop. Creation engine is just not.
You see the same bugs in every single engine.
Yeah, no. I mean, that's why Fallout 76 is such a mess. But like, it just blows my mind that they think that they can they thought they could. I don't know. It blows my mind that they did get away with using the same engine for that long.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Also, if we want to talk about Fallout 76, let's talk about that lawsuit that they're going to have coming their way soon.
Or the fact that game is really bad, I hear. I haven't played it, though, so, like, maybe.
Yeah, I literally can't judge. It doesn't look like my type of game.
It looks
where
boring, and it's glitchy and horrible. That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
So it's a Bethesda game.
Ooh, that's a hot take, dude.
I love exploration, and I love that kind of. I like the idea of 76, except for that it's online and multiplayer.
See, what I want, if I was going to have a Fallout game with multiplayer, I want a co-op experience. I wouldn't want like a world survival game like that.
Yeah. That's
I would love exploring the wasteland with somebody else, like up to maybe 4 people or something. Like that'd be super fun. I think.
Oh yeah. I've known people who've done that. Like I've got some coworkers who are doing that, and they're really enjoying it.
Yeah, but I think
that's pretty much what they're treating the game as, though.
The big issue is though, it's like the whole it's fun if you're with friends thing, because that game, even if you like the idea of the game, people gotta admit that game is broken. Like the systems in that game are terrible. Like. It's a glitchy mess that has really bad server issues, and VATS doesn't work, and
I mean, again, ignoring the server issues because it's the first time they've done it. You've just described most Bethesda games.
Yes, but this is a multiplayer game with no mod support because it's a multiplayer game. That's the main issue. Here's the thing about Bethesda games: their fans usually fix them because I agree. Bethesda games are buggy messes when they come out, always. But the thing is, you could just be the fans will eventually fix those games. Like Skyrim and Fallout 4 are nothing like their initial releases now because of the mod supports. But 76, they wrote themselves into a corner because you can't mod it. It's a multiplayer game. It's a competitive multiplayer game with PvP. So they're definitely not going to add mods.
Yeah.
So there's never gonna fix anything. So your movement speed's always gonna be tied to your frame rate unless they patch that out. But it's Bethesda, so they probably won't.
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about mods for those games, I think it was either Oblivion or maybe Skyrim, where I got a mod for it, where the guy who wrote the mod just said, "Hey, I was gonna go through and retexture everything, but I discovered that the textures in the game were actually pretty good." The issue was that they were not mapped at all to the objects correctly.
Yes. I mean, it got the... Bethesda is interesting
kind of sloppiness. But Bethesda, to be kind of fair to them, they have very ambitious projects. Especially considering the team size they have. They have a lot smaller teams working on their games than pretty much any other AAA company.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And they still do really impressive stuff for what it is. Not to mention, whenever you try to keep things open to the possibility of modding, that also means sometimes leaving some things in your code a little more, I don't know, flexible. Which can cause some issues as well. And I think part of that mod support is maybe what causes some of the instability. I could be wrong here. I also think using a 20-year-old engine is part of the problem too. Yeah, and I don't mean to defend them completely. Like as a game developer, coming from that point of view, it's I can see definitely where all the issues could come from.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's just like at a certain point, especially considering Bethesda has id Software on board, and like id Software invented Unreal. Like, can we just switch it? Can we just make a game in Unreal or something? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, well, that means that all of their world building tools they've created, they have
exactly. Yeah, it would be really it would be really tough, but I think the problem is we're getting to the point where the creation engine just isn't up for it anymore. Like, it's just they've modified it as much as I think they've pushed it as far as it'll go. I don't think it can keep going. Like, I think they're going to lose a lot of fan good because like they said their new project and Elder Scrolls 6 are going to be in the creation engine, but I don't think they're going to lose. I mean, I think they're going to lose a lot of goodwill from fans if they keep trying to do this because like it's going to feel like they're just like re-releasing Skyrim at this point.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still on board for 6. I mean, I'll see what happens when it comes out.
I mean, I'm worried. I love Elder Scrolls games, but I am really worried about Elder Scrolls 6, just because I'm just really worried that the creation engine is going to really fuck them up.
Yeah. Actually, now that I think about it, I don't think Elder Scrolls Online uses their engine, because I think that's just a different company.
It's a different company, yeah.
That's still
it is. I was going to say, when we were talking about Elder Scrolls, were we really just going to give Elder Scrolls Online a free pass there?
Yes, because that game is...
I've heard it's better. I don't know. I haven't played it.
Yeah, I mean, I played it a little after release, and that game was really bad.
I played it during beta, and it was not good. I've heard they've improved it since.
Exceedingly bad. It's very popular, so...
It is.
It still is.
Yeah, it's actually got pretty decent concurrent players, surprisingly. I guess the idea of being in Cyrodiil is good enough for people.
Honestly, and I would love that, and I think they open up more of the continents too. Like,
I mean, they've added Morrowind and Hammerfell now. It's like Morrowind, Hammerfell. I think the next one is going to be in where the orcs are come from. What's that place called? I don't remember. But
geez, I can't remember.
But yeah, I mean, it's cool. I mean, I get the idea. It's just I don't think that would be a fun I don't know, man. It's just not for me. From what I played, the quests were super boring. It's like, here's the thing. I've been spoiled by a lot of open world games in the past few years with that have really interesting quests and characters. And I think it's just it's hard for me to get as on board with Bethesda games as I used to. Like, I still love cracking open Skyrim sometimes and just, like, seeing what new mods are out there, but it's just, like, Bethesda, it's one thing that I think that Bethesda does really badly compared to a lot of their contemporaries, is they are really bad at making stories nowadays. Like, they're just really, really bad at it.
Yeah, no, they kind of, like, peaked at the Dark Brotherhood questline for Oblivion and haven't really gone anywhere since.
I mean, Morrowind was fantastic. Yeah. Morrowind's story was really good. I really liked Morrowind's story, but... I genuinely think that was their last good story attempt, because, like, most of Oblivion was pretty trash. Like, I think the Dark Brotherhood questline was great, but besides, like, I'd say, like, a good, 70% of Oblivion stories are pretty trash, too.
Yeah, and Skyrim was pretty uninteresting. Like, I
still
enjoyed the game.
Across the board. Yeah, I liked exploring in that world, and I like fighting dragons and all that shit. But
that's the fun part of it, and that's always what I mean, I've always gone into those games with the idea that I want to explore the world, and I want to look around it and stuff, but they don't even necessarily do... they do a little bit of the, there's just stories a little bit built into the world.
Yeah.
Where they're not explicitly told you have to go and find things and look at how things are laid out and Like, when you find a body at, like, a certain location, you're like, okay, well, how did this
Sure.
person end up
Yeah,
here?
I think Bethesda's good. I think Bethesda's good at like doing the world, like especially for like their little microcosms. Like you see, like the dungeons all have little mini stories, like of, like,
and they've done it better in the
stuff.
Fallout games.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially with the vaults, they've nailed that.
Mm-hmm.
But they've never been able to quite do that in Elder Scrolls.
Their main stories, or like just their
and even the main story in Fallout 4 and stuff was not...
It's really bad. That's a really shit one. But Dan hasn't said anything in a while, so Dan, what have you been playing? I think we should table that.
What?
So,
No,
welcome back
it's
to
good.
the
Are we still shitting
Yeah,
on
welcome back to the podcast, co-host. What have you been doing?
Never mind. I just phased out of the ether for a second. What have I been doing? Well, we were talking turn-based, like RTS. I've been playing a bunch of turn-based strategy.
Right.
Like,
You've been playing a lot of Fire Emblem, right?
Yeah, I have you played a lot of Fire Emblem at all, Tyler? Or?
I've never really gotten into the Fire Emblem games. The next turn-based strategy game on my list is Octopath, which I'm probably going to be playing when I come back to visit you guys later. But
cool.
Okay, well that's not a turn-based strategy. That's a turn-based JRPG.
You're right. Sorry,
but,
JRPG.
You know.
The turn-based strategy ones. Then, no, I haven't really played any recently.
Like,
in that case,
okay, yeah.
Actually, I guess the most recent one I've played is the Mario Rabbids.
I mean, that counts.
One, which
counts. Yeah, I was gonna say basically it's XCOM clones or Fire Emblem games.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. What is it? I've been replaying because I thought we were gonna get the new one for the Switch this year, or we were supposed to. I guess say, but now apparently it's blown off till next year. So I was like, oh, you know what? I want to replay through the ones on the GameCube and the Wii, the Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn. They're both still really good, by the way.
I'm sure.
Radiant Dawn's really hard.
You said that Radiant Dawn was like kicking your ass, right?
Yeah, no. Especially the beginning of that, because it's one of the only one of the few times the game series has done like a continuing narrative too, like a direct sequel. So yeah, playing through Path of Radiance, I think it's more fun almost knowing you get to set all of these things up, and then if anything, I don't know. I think Radiant Dawn is a little worse, I'm going to say, because they kind of dumb down support conversations. They're not like actual characters getting to know each other. It's like the little quips of like, oh, hey, I'll watch your back on the battlefield, insert character name.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, and especially because in Path of Radiance, they were like the normal one. I was like, wait, why did you guys make this like worse?
Yeah, that is confusing, right? Like, I mean, I'm wondering if that was just like an afterthought, like late in development.
Yeah.
They decided to throw that back. That maybe they decided early on not to put it in, and then they were like, wait, people are gonna want it, so let's just do whatever.
Yeah, well, I think it was that, and then also you without giving away too much on Radiant Dawn, like so many of the like your armies, you don't control. Because one thing I did miss from Radiant Dawn is like switching up which army you're actually controlling in these things. To the point of like the different parts have different commanding units, and even within parts, like one time you'll be commanding like Ike and his friends that he fights with and for, and then another time you'll be commanding like I don't know, the Knights of Crimea, who are on the other side of the world and have no idea what's going on. So it's like, oh hey, you want to use all these garbage units? Because I hate them. I hate every single person I have to use in those chapters, and I hate that they expect me to do well. But yeah, I don't know. That's really all I've been doing. They're really solid.
Yeah,
you should play turn-based strategy games. You should play more, Tyler.
I really should. I used to play them all the time, and I just
you played XCOM 2?
I have not played XCOM 2.
It's really good until the last level.
It's a lot better with the new DLC.
My issue with XCOM games is that RNG hates me.
Oh yeah.
So it doesn't really it seems like whatever I do in those games, like no matter how good my strategy is going in, it's just like I'll get like 20 misses in a row, and it's like, how do I get 20 misses in a row with an 80% chance to hit?
Well,
I get that.
It's XCOM. 80% is actually 10%.
Yeah,
apparently. I was gonna say, if you want that experience, Tyler, just play frickin' the Blood Bowl 2 game on Steam.
Oh goodness, yeah, like it's one of those things that it just RNG hates me too much to play those games a lot. Like I need to be able to at least do some damage every time I attack.
Yeah. Well, and again, like missing on 80% is like, come on, man.
Yeah, it just really sucks. So I had so much trouble with that in the first XCOM that I just never could convince myself to get the second XCOM game.
Understandable.
And I've heard good things about it. I know it was a lot.
I really like it, especially the expansion that came out with it. With that, I think that really elevated it from like being a good game to a great game, in my opinion. Like the
is it the War of the Chosen?
Yes, War of the Chosen. That's it. Yeah, because like the other DLCs are decent, like the Shen's stuff and like the Alien Hunters is decent. Gives you more. It makes the game harder, which is hilarious. But you also get a big mech boy.
Yeah. It seems like a lot
and
of
you can get a mod that makes him sound like Optimus Prime. And that's great.
Yeah, it seems like even from the first XCOM, like I think the DLCs for that would have made the game harder. Like,
yeah, well, the Alien Hunters DLC literally just adds bosses that can just show up in your missions, and like they make it way harder. And then the fucking War of the Chosen do the same thing, except for the bosses are way more intricate now. Like, and they're immortal, but. They did it, like, that expansion was so big, like, it added the hunters, it added 3 new classes, which are really, really interesting, especially the Templar, in my opinion. That was, like, the really, really cool one. Like, all three of those are super interesting. It added a bunch of new upgrades, a bunch of new mission types, an entirely new enemy type. Like, it's just a really good, like, really well done DLC, and I think it really elevated the game from being pretty good to being, like, wow, really, really solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I don't know. Again, my big thing is I really like that game until the last level is
because the last level is bullshit, but it actually isn't as bad after you out on the with the War of the Chosen. They actually changed it.
I mean, is it enemy units still show up through solid walls on their turn, so you don't get time to react?
A little bit of that still, yeah. But
then yeah, that's crap. It's literally just trial and error.
No, it is crap, but it's not as unforgiving as it was. Because I think they realized that wasn't fun to play against. Like there still is challenge. It's still challenging, but it's a lot less unfair than it was before. Because I agree, the last mission in Vanilla XCOM 2 is actually just completely unfair. It's not. It's just to make you lose characters, essentially.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's my spiel on XCOM 2, and while I'll remain to be bitter about it.
Yeah. I actually want to talk just a little bit about the Spyro Reignited trilogy.
Yeah, hit us.
Yeah, we got time.
That's actually a pretty new one that was released, I think, earlier this month. Or maybe last month as of when this releases, who knows. But it's a beautiful game. It is...
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
It looks so good. Especially compared to like when you look at the original and you're just like, this is...
Hey, don't you talk about Spyro like that. He's beautiful. All 8 polygons of him.
Yeah, all like 4 polygons stacked together.
They built them differently back then. It was hot where he's from.
Yup. So yeah, it's beautiful. And like the first game, every single dragon you save is a completely different model with completely original animations. And they look also amazing. That was actually one of my favorite parts, is going around and saving all the dragons, releasing from their stone or whatever, and just seeing the, like, 5 seconds of animation that was unique to them.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah. And they had really cool designs, really interesting designs for those dragons.
Yeah, I do like the art style they chose for the Reignited trilogy. Like, I thought that was really well done.
Yep. So that's... just wanted to talk about that before I go into things I don't like about it.
Yeah, now shit on the game. Destroy it.
Yeah, now destroy it.
All you Spyro fans out there, fuck yourself. I hate all of you. All right, Tyler, take it away.
All right. So I'm currently in the second game right now. Like in the, I think, second of 3 worlds in the game. I never played the originals, very briefly. But my main problem with this game is they obviously started like from scratch. Like they built the game again from the ground up, and I think that includes code and everything. So my main issue with the game is, why did they take things that were bad in the first game and keep them around in the second? Or in the creation of it, the reignition, I guess as they call it. Primarily little things, like not even necessarily game mechanics changing, but certain things like the final boss for the first game is basically just chase around like 5 different things in circles for, I don't know, until you win. However, it is really easy to just bonk on things or misjudge things or do something that just causes you to die. And then you have to go all the way back to the beginning of the boss fight. And the first part of the boss fight is the worst thing ever. You just have to chase around these guys that are holding keys. They're really fast. And it usually, at least, maybe I'm just bad at the game, usually takes me a couple laps around before I can catch up to them. And I had to do that, I don't know, like 10 times or something as I was figuring out the things later on in the boss fight. Because you're trying to figure out how to beat the boss, and so you make mistakes, and then you have to go all the way back to the beginning for one stupid mistake.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if they're redoing the game, why didn't they just, add a checkpoint in?
Yeah, that is very emblematic of like old games. Because I know I replayed Jack and Dexter recently, and the final boss in that game is very similar, where it's like a 3-phase fight. But if you lose at any point in the fight, you have to start from the first phase.
Yeah, that stuff, like, I can understand it for people who are going into, like, a Dark Souls type game, and who want that. But I want a somewhat casual game experience when I'm doing this. I want something that's lighthearted, I want something that's just kind of fun, and will let me get my mind off things.
Hell, that wouldn't even be acceptable in Dark Souls. Dark Souls doesn't waste your time like that.
Yeah, and it feels like it's there solely to waste your time. It's like, okay, I've perfected that first part. Like, I don't need to do it again. I figured out what it is, and like, sure, if I want to do a speed run or something, then I'll have to just keep practicing it over and over again, and that's fine. But I'm not interested in speed running. I'm interested in playing the game.
Yeah, I am curious though. Do you think there would have been a fan backlash if they had changed the final boss? I'm like genuinely curious, because like, there are a lot of fans who are like purists and who just want like an upgraded version of the game they played way back when they were kids.
That's true. For something like this, throw a freaking like setting in the options menu. There was a setting to turn the music back to the original, if you wanted to, in the options menu. So just say like, I don't know, like have a classic mode and a reignited mode. They already did that for like the control scheme. You could play the original control scheme, you could play the reignited control scheme. So just have the reignited version, and it's basically the same, but they've added some niceties in it, and things like, I don't know, a tutorial in the first game, so they don't just drop you in and literally nothing happens. You're just sitting there. They don't say like, oh, this is how you move, this is how you charge, this is how you jump, this is how you do anything. And most of the time, all of that information is given to you from the dragons that you rescue. But you have to know some of this information before you can even get to the dragons. Or it'll do things like, you have to go past all these enemies, and then the dragon will be like, oh, by the way, you can kill these enemies by doing this. And it's, alright, well, why couldn't you have told me that before I encountered the enemy?
Because then you wouldn't have learned.
This is the lesson.
Except I had to learn to get over there for him to teach me.
Ain't that just a kick in the teeth, right? You're just like, you do all this work I would like refreeze the dragon. I would just like go back.
It's just like, no, it's like, go get back in that stone.
Make sure you press LT to dash, and you're like, I had to do that 18 times to get here. Fuck yourself, dragon. I'm so out.
Yup.
No, my favorite was whenever they do a game tutorial, and then like after you walk around, they're like, you walk up to somebody, it's like, use the joystick to move around. I'm like, oh man, I've never seen such innovation in a game before.
Yeah, so it's just little things like that they had a chance. Like, they could have done it, and it would have helped a ton.
Yeah, well, here's the thing though, and here's probably why they didn't do it,
especially for new players. Like, this is kind of a kids looking game.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
here's probably the reason they didn't do it is because they could get away with not doing it. I bet you that's the reason. Like, it's just that's extra work, and they knew that fans wouldn't care. Like,
Possibly.
they spent all their time on the aesthetics because that's the part that the fans really want. Like, the fans really want to play the game they played back then, but like the way they thought it looked when they were kids.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, they knew they could improve these things in the game, but they were like, why? Like, that requires us to think of new things, and like a little bit. Like, it's just we could just make the same thing, and they wouldn't even care. They wouldn't even complain about it.
Yeah, I was also surprised. There's just a lot of other little things that I wish I could, like, turn off.
Mhm.
Like, there's this whole little cutscene that happens every single time you die, where, like, Spyro has to, like, fly across the screen, and it brings up the text reigniting and all this stuff, and it's like, I don't care about this, just freaking spawn me back! Like, how hard can it be to just reset my location to another part in the level, and why do you have to reload the level?
The technology's just not there, alright, Tyler? They spent all their money making it so fish move away when you swim next to them. That was that was 100% of the engine. Like, that you understand how next level that is.
Yeah, and it says, it's also the same. It's like trying to put females in games. It's too complicated.
Yeah,
it's
very
too much
hard.
work. Nobody
Ubisoft,
knows how to do it.
Ubisoft, you fucking...
Go on. Continue.
I mean, okay. Well, all right. So little story time. I'm a really vindictive person when it comes to purchasing games. Like, if I feel slated by a company, I will just not buy their games. I'll be like, you know what? I'll vote with my wallet. Go to hell. Like, and so after I think it was Assassin's Creed 3, I just swore off of Ubisoft games, like, it just entirety, because that game pissed me off. Like, I hated that game. So
yeah.
That was the last Ubisoft game I ever played. I just didn't touch the series after that. I didn't touch any Ubisoft game after that game, because I was just, like, that upset. I was like, you know what? Until they get their shit straight, I'm not gonna buy any of this crap, because Brotherhood and Revelations made me want to kill myself, and Desmond Miles is the worst protagonist. I'm sorry, Nolan North. You did a really good job on the worst character ever. So, and then I finally was ready to love again, Dan. My heart was opening up. I was hearing all these good things about Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and I was like, is this it? Can I love again? Can I finally do it? And I buy the game, and I get to level 11, and then I just, like, want to die, because it's just so slow, and I just... Man...
Yeah.
This is why I can't trust again. I'm a closed off. I'll never love anything ever again.
I didn't I don't know. I gave up on, like, the second two Assassin's Creed games Assassin's Creed 2 trilogy. Mm-hmm. I played, like, the Assassin's Creed 2, and then I did not play Revelations and Brotherhood.
Yeah, because they were garbage.
They were terrible.
You missed nothing. They were. It was terrible.
So much more of the same from what I saw. I think I played a
also, they ruined the story. They ruined an already bad story. Like, I don't even know how you do that.
Yeah. Honestly,
like,
the strongest thing about one of the most recent ones, Origins, which I did play, is that they really... I think they've started realizing people don't so much care about the frame story that they're setting up.
Yeah, because the future story was a mistake, and Ubisoft just refuses to accept that. Like, no, like, that future story is garbage. It's really bad. Like, it's literally just, like, people would be A-okay with just playing as a historical figure, or playing as a character in a historical time. Nobody would complain about that, but Ubisoft has to be all French about it, and be like, no, everyone wants to be, future man. Oh, by the way, 2012 was a thing, right? Let's make that a major plot point.
Yeah.
Remember the Mayan calendar? That's a major fucking plot point. Like, that is literally the entire plot of 3. Revelations ruined that
Oh, I've never played 3. I played 4. I actually really enjoyed Black Flag.
Like,
because it was fun to just sail around in the boat, and it had some of the best naval combat I've played in a game.
Sure, I've heard that, but, like, I don't know, because, like, 2 had a pretty decent story. It was okay. I thought the future stuff was still pretty stupid. All the alien nonsense they introduced about, like, halfway through that game.
Yeah, that one had, like, the weird Adam-Eve story,
fist fighting the Pope was pretty fun. That was a pretty fun part of that game.
Yeah, they can have that.
Like, this is ridiculous in retrospect. But then, like, Brotherhood Revelations was what really did me in. Like when they added the 2012, like, oh my god, the world's gonna end in 2012. Like that really got me. I was like does that make me take a step back and I'm like, wait a minute, this is the worst story I've ever heard. All right.
Well,
everybody's still wondering though, like why they refuse to do like a game in Japan.
Yeah, or they've had what so far one non-white protagonist in the mainline games so far.
Yeah, I think they had one take place
because Origins you're black because you're in Egypt. And there was a bunch of mobile games where you were in China.
Yeah, there's like
and
a China
stuff.
one. Yeah.
Those ones you were of different ethnicities, but like every other game you're white because it takes place in some Europe, except for the first game where Altair's white for some reason, even though he's in fucking like shit. Where is he from? It's somewhere in the Middle East. I can't remember, like next to Jerusalem or something. But yeah, like but so like it just really blows my mind that everybody is. Like, even fucking 3, you're a Native American, but they couldn't just be okay with that one. You're half white anyway. Like,
yeah.
Ah, good.
Like, it's just, I don't know. Ubisoft has a really hard time not making white protagonists, I guess. Like, it took them until literally now to have women in it. Like,
that's true. It would be kind of, I don't know, like, I get, they have switched up the person in the I guess the present day or future or whatever.
Well, now... Yeah, well, now it's just like the protagonist of the present day stuff is literally just whoever they want at this point, I think.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I think in Origins they made it so it's like you're just living out, you can literally just put anybody's DNA in the thing and live it. It doesn't have to be an ancestor.
Yeah,
anymore.
And then in Black Flag, I know you're just an employee of Abstergo, I'm pretty sure, right? And then you're playing through Black Flag.
I think so. I don't know if they completely got rid of the whole thing, but yeah, you're just an employee of Abstergo.
Well, that's the really thing.
I honestly don't remember the frame story at all because
stupid,
it was dumb.
But like it's and then like in Origin, Odyssey. In Odyssey, it's like two women are trying to find like some like Leonidas's children or something, Leonidas's grandchildren, to find some secret of ancient Greece or something. Like, and it has very like those two women I think are trying to stop the Templars, but like it's such a loose. Templars aren't even in Odyssey as far as I can tell. Which I mean, Templars couldn't be in Odyssey because it takes place before Origins, where the Assassin's Brotherhood was formed.
Yeah, no, and they didn't exist. I don't think they existed in Origins either. It was like some other order in Origins that you were going up against.
But I'm sorry, I'm getting off topic. I just hate Ubisoft. I wish Ubisoft would just stop being terrible. And that's my 3 cents on it. Alright, well, we're getting to an hour. We haven't even talked about TV shows, so I think we're just gonna probably... You know what we could do? You want us to make this a two-parter, Tyler?
A two-parter? I mean, I have plenty to talk about.
Yeah, I'm not like for next time we record. You want to be like this part of that one too? Because like I got TV and shit to talk about, but we only talk about games the whole show. So.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Are you okay with that?
The game part
does that
of
sound?
it.
I was fine.
Yeah, I will talk about the movie. I will talk about the movie next week, but I just thought it was kind of, we didn't get to talk about any of the things we watched, and I thought that was unfortunate.
Ooh, the movie? Oh yeah, that's right. The movie you were forced
Kevin
to.
James's magnum opus.
You're probably not wrong.
But either way, it was nice seeing all you dumpster goblins. Keep living in trash, you filthy dumpster people.
Yeah, keep living and eating garbage.
And I will see you later.
Get out. Yeah, thanks again, Tyler. See you next week.
See ya.